travelers, this is Rose from Travel's Point of View, and I'm here in my new camper. So recently I bought a new Peugeot J5 camper van, which I'm gonna use for touring through Europe. So there's a few things you need to pay attention when you're buying a camper. So I want to make this video just for people that are buying for campers, looking for camper vans, or you want to make a backpack camper van yourself. There's a few things you need to pay attention before you buy it. Of course, everything mechanical needs to be sound. So I'll show you guys under the hood in a minute that everything needs to be good. So the belt needs to be recently changed. It only lasts for 60,000-70,000 kilometers. So if that is not up to date on if that's not up to date recently, then it breaks down, and if it breaks down, your whole engine is gone. Or you have a system just like me, which just only give your your gas inside of your motor. And if that then it breaks, you're not gonna go anywhere because you don't have any diesel coming in your motor, but it doesn't tear down your whole motor system. So, which is really, really nice. So you have to pay a bit attention to that. Of course, you have to check your oil and any previous repairs or previous accidents, and you have to make everything is straight and sound. Yeah, just check the history of the car. If there's any damage or something like that, you need to be concerned about. Next step, you have to stop in the camper and you have to drive yourself, of course. And while driving, just pay attention if it's like pulling to one side, because like I had a camper van we were looking at, and it was really pulling to the right side. And when I checked the tires as well, it was just completely bald, the right tire. It was terrible. And the left tire, it had so much grip still on it. So it is really, really important that you check that. Like, it can be really easily sorted out if by outlining your car, for example. But it can also be really big problems underneath it as well. If you had an accident and your whole chassis is just wrecked. So be careful when you do that. Like, check with the buyer why it's like going that direction. I did not buy that specific camper van. It also had a little bit more things to it. Also, when you're driving, just make sure, like, a lot of these old camper vans doesn't have power steering. So going on easy on turns and going easy on take your time with the turns, because you have to turn a lot with no power steering, right? This one also has like a rear view camera, which is really nice, especially with these campers, because you can't really use the camper van very in the camper van because everything's blocked. Make sure it sounds right, doesn't have any funny noises, the V string is not really, really bad. So there's like a lot of things mechanically we can check. If you're not mechanically yourself, you can always ask a mechanic to come with you, or a friend that actually has knowledge about camper vans to come with you. I definitely do recommend that to do that, because I have no clue either. I just asked a friend of mine who has a bit more knowledge than me about this. And about the steering wheel, most of these camper vans has a little bit different steering than normal. So I'm just putting the clutch. So this is like a wheel-based gear shift. So this is now in 1, and you have to pull it towards is 2, and then 3, 4, and 5, and then the back here is in reverse. So, yeah. So it's just a little bit of a used to driving this kind of steering wheel. It's easy peasy and lemon squeezy if you know it, but it is something you have to get used to it. Then I have on this as well adjustable air suspension, which is really nice if you're a little bit overloaded or something like that, that you can adjust by pumping it a little bit up or pump it a little bit down. Is what you prefer. Like, don't pump over 3-4 bar because you will wreck it then, and that is not good for the air suspension either. Also, I always think, personally opinion, it's really nice to have a USB plug in your radio station. These radio fronts are really cheap. You can get like for 40, 50 euros. And you have a USB charge as well. I use it for charging my phone while I used it for Google Maps. So I definitely recommend it. We also have your, of course, your trigger plug, so you can also put that in additional 2 more USB chargers in there. This camper van does not come with air conditioning, sadly. So we have rolled up windows. It's not bad, it's not too bad. Next to it we also have, I don't know if you can really see, is the rear view mirror. So it's got a little camera. I have to start it on, don't have my keys with me of course. But it gives you a little camera shot about the rear view mirror, because if you can see, like, see this little bit, that's the only what I can see from my rear view mirror. It's not enough to drive over the road. So I have, of course, 2 seats. This seat can turn around all the way. That is really nice if you have more company coming around. The driver's seats can't do that. Also, it's really nice to have leaning arms and curtains all around it, so you can block in the light out when you go to sleep. And this is the living area. So when you're looking at the living area, it's really important that you test every single item on the camper van before you buy it. So just make sure that everything works, there's not disgusting water coming out of it or anything that is broken with it, it starts leaking somewhere. Check everything, especially with water. If it leaks, it's just so much trouble. So I'm just showing you really quickly around. Sorry. So this is my bed. We call it an alcove bed. It is just basically saying that you sleep above the driving seat. It is really important that you don't buy too thick of a mattress, because it is just a little space between it, and if you buy this really thick mattress, you have no place to turn around in, and you just start bumping your head, and it's just really ugly. It's a 14 centimeter mattress on it right now, and even now I think it's a little bit maybe too much. But if you go too little and you have to sleep on it for a year, it's a little bit of a give and take kind of thing. If you go only for like a couple of weeks, it's not really big of a deal if you get like a 7 to 10 centimeter mattresses. Then you can definitely sing that out, but you can definitely sleep on that. But for a whole year I wanted it a little bit more solid, and therefore also a little bit less space. Also, what's really nice, it is like a window I can open above my head, which in summer times I would be really happy. I have 3 windows. You can't really see that. So I have 3 windows, one behind me, one in the front, and one over here. So it gives you a lot of light and maybe excellent views if you're standing on amazing spots. Next to it, we have the dining area. I have a lot of storage space in this camper van, and this table can come down, and I have an additional 2-person bed. And up here I have 3 compartments where I can store all my stuff, which is nice, and another cabinet over here. And underneath it I have a radio. Woohoo! So this is a separate radio from my radio at the front. It does also go on a different battery. It goes on a different battery than my driving one. Otherwise it just sucks to dry your battery of the engine, and then you can't start it. It's a little bit sucky. But I'm plugged in now, so we also have how we call it, a household battery. So these and all my appliances are going over my household battery. Please check that if it's also okay, because you don't want to have a dead battery sitting in there and then you can't start anything. So therefore it's also really important to start everything. This is an 89 camper van, so it's almost 30 years old, so it comes with some issues, if I have to say like that. But before that, we have also a very nice bathroom. It's just a simple, clean bathroom. You will not know how many dirty campers I have seen. But this is just nice and clean. It's really important as well. Just check on the cracks in the ground. If like the... Oh, that's a lot better. If there is like cracks in the floor or cracks on the toilet or whatsoever, you don't want to clean up that kind of stuff. Also check if the water is running, if there is anything loose, everything works. I have some power plugs in there, so make sure that it works as well, because rewiring everything this is just so much work. Then we are now in the kitchen. Kitchen time. So this is the kitchen, this is the gas stove. So we have a 3-pit gas stove. And it is really important you light every single one of them. Because I only lighted 2 and didn't light the 3rd. And the 3rd one was actually a bit messy. So the 3rd one, this one, I did not light. Stupid me. Actually came out of a lot of yellow flames, and actually also in the side, so it was like just burning everywhere, and it burns the hair of my arms and my dad's arms off. So yeah, we had to fix it. It was just a mixture of too much air in the gas lines, and it is to be fixed, but you have to know those kind of things. And same with the boiler. I don't think that is the one thing we still didn't repair. I actually didn't even saw this little button when I was buying it. So yeah, just make sure that this is working as well. It's nice to have hot water when you're camping. It's not so much of a big deal. You can also boil water on the gas stove, but still, right? Then the water. Water is also important. Oh, I have here my control panel. So this is just the lights above it that I don't need on the moment because it's light side. This is for the water pump. It's pumping water into my taps. This is basically saying if this is gonna go over the motor battery or my household battery. So I have now my household battery. In the center is off, and then top is my motor battery. So we don't want to do that because then you get stranded. But just in the case of emergency, I really need it, I don't know. Also, this little warning light will give you a warning if it goes on the 10 volts. Then we have this little switch. That's basically the same thing, but then for your water. And now it's pumping, so therefore it's now in yellow. It will turn green shortly after that, but the water pump takes so much energy from it. It does that. And then we have our general 12 volt. So we have like these hidden little power plugs everywhere where I can put a appliance from 12 volt on it. And then we have the sink. Sink is really important. I bought one with a leaky tab. It's working fine now, but it works fine like that. And then I opened my drawer and it was just completely filled with water. I'm like, oops. So we have replaced the tab and now it's working perfectly fine. But yeah, just a little note when you buy a new camper that you check the drawer underneath it as well. Hey, so this is our fridge. Well, my fridge on the moment, but our fridge soon. It's really easy. You just pull up the plug here. That's a little plug. And you can open it. So there's this very small freezing compartment, but doesn't really matter. It's hold off for like a couple of ice blocks or popsicles or frozen veggies, whatever you like. Then it's enough room for all your groceries. So the only thing is with this kind of stuff, it can go on electricity and on gas. So please make sure they work on both, because the fridge is going to be your main cost of this. So I'll just turn it off for a second because I've now opened. So this is going to be your main energy puller or your gas consumption from. So to start the gas, this, for example, is just useless. So we're gonna just forget about that. I don't think it's hooked up to anything. And if I figure it out, I'll let you guys know. Start up the gas, you put it on 0. You pull in a little, of course you're gonna turn on the gas right now, which I'm not gonna do on the moment. And you put it on max, and you start pressing this button a couple of times. And then in the end, you would see a blue little flame right there. It's a little bit around the corner, so it's a bit hard to see. But yeah, it also just shows you how to manage your temperature in the fridge. So max is really cold, minimum is a little bit warmer, etc, etc, right? It speaks for itself. But you can also use it on electric. So when you're driving, I'm just gonna close that because we don't need that. When you're driving, you probably want to go over your battery because it is automatically charging while you're driving. And up, now it's on 12 volt. And it keeps your stuff nice and cold inside. When you're standing still and you're hooked up on the power line, however, you probably want to switch this off because you don't want to strain your battery because it's really sucking your battery dry. Then this one says turn on and off. It's now on. And it's so easy. And then you just adjust the, how you say, the cold temperature. And that's it. And now you wait until it's cold. In warm days it takes quite a lot of time. While on cold days like this, it takes only like half an hour, 45 minutes. Next you will want to think about the heater. Especially on these cold little days, and especially in Holland. It's gonna be really cold, so you'll be happy when you have a heater. So I will just show you how to do it. I have to crouch a little bit, so bear with me for a second. So this is my heater. It is a Trumatic SL3002 from '88. So this heater actually is 30 years old and still working fine actually. You just have to know most of these old heaters has a electric spark function. So you can remove this hatch, and underneath it, around here, there's a little compartment. There's like 2 AA batteries in it. If you don't replace those after they've filling them up, they are dead and the heater won't work. How warm